Well, Northwestern, by the way, by this time was pretty well integrated school. No, actually, I went to St. Benedict de Moore boarding school in Milwaukee, which is non-existent now. It was run by Adrian, Michigan nuns and Franciscan fathers. I went there in the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade there, and then I went to Northwestern. But you know, they got me out of Detroit just in time. You know. Well, it was you know, I probably would be dead if I hadn't gone to St. Benedict. You know. All of the guys that I grew up with ended up overdosing on drugs. Everybody that all of them, with the exception of Sam Poole that I mentioned, almost all of those guys ended up victims of the 1946 heroin epidemic. Right after the war, heroin hit this neighborhood, and it ran through this neighborhood like wildfire. Most of the people didn't know, you know, they used it, they didn't know it was addictive. And by the time they knew it was addictive, they were addicted. So I was out of here because I was in Milwaukee. So I missed it. I missed that epidemic. That was definitely a rule. I was a wanderer as well as with the guys I grew up with. You know, we Saturday we take off. And we would be gone all day. And I mean, it really upset my parents, you know. We would be in the street all day. We'd go to the railroad track, catch freights, ride them across town, catch freight, ride back, and stuff like that. All day Saturday, you know. And my parents really were upset about it. And finally, they moved in on me. Well, my buddy down the street, his mother borrowed a skirt from my mother and put it on him and said, okay, now let me see if you leave the block. And so my mother got the idea and put a skirt on me. So the two of us had to wear skirts, and we're not going anywhere. So finally, Sam and I said, look, you know, we got to deal with this. And we just went on back in the alley and played baseball in the skirts. But starting at West Grand Boulevard and running to Epworth, on both sides of the street were businesses. I mean, cleaners, shoe shops, dry goods stores, ice cream parlors, hardwares, theater, etc. I mean, this is like a bustling area. You really didn't have to go downtown. I mean, you could get just about anything you needed here because of the dry goods stores, fish market, poultry market, ice cream parlor, hardware, shoe store, where you could buy shoes, where you could get shoes repaired, dime store, you know, 5 and 10 cent store it was called, supermarket. It was a very bustling business section. Nothing like it is now. Well, I mean, there's one store on West Grand Boulevard. That's it. There are no more stores on this street. And this, I'm talking about all the way from Epworth to West Grand Boulevard. I don't know. See, I went to the Army in 1953 during the Korean War. When I came back, it was like, it's all over from Memphis Street. You know, shops were gone or boarded up. And pretty well, this club here just advocated to tear down the last store because it was open to the public and there was garbage and stuff in it. And we went to city council and got it torn down. But it had been a shoe store and a shoe repair store. But it was just sitting there wide open. But right after, I think it was during the Korean War, and right after integration of the downtown hotels and clubs, situation changed. The club was formed in like 1922 of men who lived basically in this area. And in 1924, they bought this building. The part from here to that door there, the rest, what you saw down there where the bar is, was added during the war. But this was basically the house until 1945, 1946. And it was generally fathers and sons. It was an all-male club at that time. And it was made, you know, if your father belonged, you expected to belong. They had a youth group. They had basketball teams, baseball teams, with, you know, with the Nakarima logo on it, etc. Very active. Once a year, they'd have Nakarima Week. They'd have a boat ride. They'd have a golf match. They'd have parties here. This was basically the social center for this neighborhood. Many of the people you talk about would have their graduation party here, their wedding reception here. My parents' 50th wedding anniversary was here. My sister's wedding reception was here. Basically, this was the social center for this neighborhood, even though, you know, people belong from all around the city, but it was basically this neighborhood.